All right. Should hear me. You should see me. Or should I be seen and not heard? I don't know. Oh, let's turn this radio down. Yeah, just in time too. They were playing that song. Hey Mickey, you're so fine, you're so fine. Hey Mickey, hey Mickey. And now it's going to be stuck in my head for the next 3 months. Damn Mickey song, I'll tell you what. Everybody hear me, everybody see me. Somebody give me a sign. Hello. Hello. I guess so. All right. Now the rooster's still outside, and I already took Tilly for her walk, so she should be good, but she could come up to the door and start barking, so we're going to have to work through the dogs. I can hear you. Okay. That's why I got the microphone, see? So you guys can hear me. Let me know if the sound's good, and then we'll get on with that, because that's how every live stream starts. Can you see me? Can you hear me? That's why I come on a minute early. We can get that out of the way. Get right to the nitty gritty. But I don't have any nitty gritty. All right. I left the chat alone this time. I had it on slow mode last time, and I didn't like how it was working. So we'll see how that works. Everybody be respectful, and we'll get along just fine. And got a lot of names I've never seen before, and some that I have. Well, I just got done sticking all them solar lights in the ground. If you watch my video, I went and bought another flat of those today. There's 40 of them in there, and it was a bit too many. But I took one and put it on each of the dogs' graves, and even Waddles, the rooster, got a light on his grave. They may not all have headstones, but they all got a light. So we got that done, and it's going to look like Christmas Eve here tonight. Oh, there's me, Kay. Ain't going to be one of them guys that sit here and names everybody. That's annoying. So, but I recognize a lot of you. I put a video up on Dogman and Ouachita Living today. So if you missed it after the live stream, go check it out. I thought they were decent. YouTube's been difficult the last week. Seems every time I went to put up a video, the analytics were down. Something's going on. They're not sharing them like they normally do. And it isn't just my channel. It's other channels. They're just not. I've heard this from a lot of people. They're just not getting the normal views they get. Maybe my videos sucked. I don't know. I know I did one about the euthanasia I didn't even know was a thing made. That wasn't very popular. Hey, man, people are afraid to talk about stuff like that. Not me. What is my favorite type of tree? One that ain't close to the house is my favorite type of tree. I don't know. I like palm trees. I lived in Florida, lived in Vegas. I guess that would probably be a coconut tree or a palm tree. They all look the same. You know, they like this. That's my favorite kind of tree. I can tell you what is not my favorite tree, and that is a pine tree. They look nice, but they're just a pain. And anybody that has big, tall pine trees would know that. Supposed to get severe storms Wednesday. What is today? Tuesday. Okay. Yeah. I kind of take all that with a grain of salt anymore. They get on there and they tell you it's going to be severe. Maybe it's going to be. But where I live, it could go around me. It could come straight at me. You just never know. I realize there's no point in worrying about it till it happens. And then you just got to ride it out. There's nothing we can do about it. And with YouTube, you know, Ryan Hall, y'all, I watch him. They're good. They like to stir it up a little, I think. But, man, what a concept he came up with. You know, now the guy's got like 3 million subscribers and doing real good. And he does a service to a lot of people. Love the outside videos. Yeah, I'd rather do them all outside, but there's times it's not feasible to do it, especially if I'm going to put up a morning one. If I have to go somewhere, I like to record my videos, and then I have to do it in here because, it's dark. Nobody likes to watch a video in the dark. Cameras don't like the dark. So I do them outside as much as I can. Try to move around different spots. Where I did today's video is a good spot. It kind of overlooks everything. I probably, if you pulled in my driveway and seen me over there, probably would think I was nuts recording a video, but lived in the Ozarks for 10 years. Yeah, the Ozarks and the Ouachitas, they're a lot alike, but they are different. And then we got the Bostons. I don't know if they're Boston Mountains or part of the Ozarks, but the Ozarks are up north in northern Arkansas, and the Ouachitas go across Oklahoma and Arkansas. I think that's it. I lived in both states in the Ouachitas. I lived in Stigler, Oklahoma, which is in the Ouachita Mountains. And it's nice there too. A lot of people don't realize Oklahoma has some pretty good sized mountains. They got the Kiamishi Mountains, part of the Ouachitas over on the eastern side. But there's all kinds of different terrain in Oklahoma. Kind of like Texas. I'm in my situation room. Yeah. I'll probably set up something upstairs to record videos, maybe do a live stream, but I don't want to move my whole office up there because, man, I get up and down from this desk so much. I don't want to be, I guess it'd be good for me going up and down the stairs, but them are steep stairs. Okay. The more I do it, the more risk I take. So, but it would be a nice place just to have a filming studio or something. I don't really know that I'll ever use it up there that much. But I think if I do that somewhere, set up somewhere where I can record videos, I'll use it. I'll get some use out of it. But as for this little area, it's kind of a weird area. What the hell would I do with it if it wasn't an office? I was thinking maybe I could put my freezer in here and put my safe in here. But it would just be kind of weird in the middle of the middle of the cabin. But I don't know. Who knows what I'll do, and I might change my mind tomorrow. My husband had to tell me how to pronounce your mountain name. Yeah, Ouachita. I called it Ouachita. Ouachita when I thought it was a Q for the first 5 years I lived here. It's an O. And I called it Ouachita when I first moved here. Everybody does that, but it's an Indian name pronounced Ouachita. Ouachita. I grew up in Oklahoma. You get used to Indian names of towns, and they're all funny sounding to everybody else, but to me, they're normal. Got to keep up with them B-52s. Are you talking about the planes or the music? Is that who did that Mickey song? I think that's what you're talking about. 20-year Navy vet. Well, thank you for your service. Audio is out of sync. Yeah, man, StreamYard did this last time. I think on the replay it should be all right. And YouTube said they were having problems with live stream, so bear with me. Is people hacking into YouTube or what? Because they've had all kinds of problems the last month. Yeah, I think I can see it on my screen. I look like one of them Chinese movies, kung fu movies. The lips aren't in jive with what I'm saying, so just ignore it. Hopefully on the replay it's better. Hello from Russellville. Nobody can pronounce Muskogee. I can. Just listen to the song. I'm just an Okie from Muskogee. My voice is in sync? Okay. I don't know. I got fiber internet. I don't know why mine isn't. It may be true for some and others not. I don't know how many people's in there. 227. Yeah. What's sad is we used to think those movies were good. You know, the Japanese ones, Godzilla. You watch one of those now. Go back and watch Godzilla or King Kong movie. They look fake as hell because, well, they were, but they've come a long way with that stuff. I think that's why they're remaking all those movies because they were just terrible. The younger people aren't going to watch those movies. And I don't blame them because they were cheesy, but we didn't see it. It was state of the art to us. And then Star Wars came out and that blew everybody away. That was way, way ahead of its time. It's still ahead of its time. Yeah, those movies were funny, you know. I am going to kick your ass. Okay. Big long sentence and he says one word. But me and my brothers got a kick out of those. That was half the fun of watching those movies, was sitting there and making fun of them and laughing. There goes Rooster. She's got to bark at everything. I have to turn it down to talk to the chat. Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean it's a whole lot different time now. I mean, I remember waiting once a year. Once a year, the Wizard of Oz would come on TV because you only had 3 channels and maybe PBS, and that was only good on like Saturday. The rest of the week, no kids didn't watch it. And then, you know, the Christmas shows would all come on at Christmas time. Charlie Brown and Rudolph and all that, Frosty. Not anymore. You can watch that stuff whenever you want. If you want to watch Frosty the Snowman, you can get on here and watch it right now. And some of them were pretty cool. You know, that paved the way for a lot of the stuff we have today. Like Rudolph, the way they did the animations. And that took a lot of work, the way they were little models and they just move it, take a shot, move it a little more, take a shot. And it was a lot involved. Now it's all on computer. Yeah, Wizard of Oz, I remember it came on once a year, about fall. Man, make the popcorn, everybody get in there. And I bet I haven't watched that since I was a kid. But I heard they were playing it at the Spear in Las Vegas. I bet that is cool because all like in the tornado scene, everything's going around you. If anybody's seen it, let me know. You did catch a live. I didn't know somebody had mentioned in one of the comments of the video that YouTube is forcing everybody to do a live. And if they're not doing a live, they're not going to share their videos. So I figure, well, I haven't done a live in a while. And it's the last day of the month. Might as well squeeze in one more. We'll see if there's any truth to that. But with YouTube, nobody really knows. It's like the afterlife. You either believe in it or you don't. And nobody really knows anything about it. And YouTube has always been a mystery. Scottsdale, Arizona. I was watching something that went on in Scottsdale. I don't remember if it was a car show or something like that. Somebody was there. Somebody I watched was there. I don't remember. They have some annual shindig they do there. Stovetop baby rice popcorn. I never heard of that stuff. Jiffy Pop. Sit there and do that. They still got Jiffy Pop. Before I went on Carnivore, I bought some and I burned the hell out of it. It was awful. There is nothing worse than burnt popcorn. And I ate popcorn just about every single night. Not always Jiffy Pop, but that stuff, you know, once you have microwave popcorn, it's hard to do the Jiffy Pop thing. I don't even know if you could do Jiffy Pop on my induction cooktop because you would have to be picking it up all the time. It would probably, I don't even know if aluminum would work on it. So you probably couldn't do Jiffy Pop on an induction stovetop. Yeah, the YouTube algorithm. What it usually does is if I'll put a video out, maybe, and it'll do really good, hit over 100,000. And man, for like the next week or two, everything does well. And then they forget about you. And then you struggle. They do it, I think, on purpose. And then you struggle for weeks thinking that people quit watching you when in actuality, they quit sharing you. And last night, I sat on my TV and I scrolled down every channel I was subscribed to. And I'm like, man, I forgot about them. No wonder I haven't seen a video. And I clicked, and sure enough, they'd been making videos all this time, but YouTube hadn't shared them. They only share the latest ones you watched or the ones you watch the most. So like the channels I watch every single day or every week, those will usually be there, but not all the time. So, and you have to check and make sure you're still subscribed. What sucks about that is you don't remember them all. And yesterday I was thinking of some channel I watched. It was a couple of guys in Ukraine that were metal detectors, and it was all dubbed, but it was a good channel. But I can't think of the name of the channel, so I can't find them. And I don't know, one day I guess I missed the video and they quit sharing it. And before you know it, I haven't watched them in a year. But yeah, YouTube is a challenge for anybody, especially if you're you're trying to start a channel. It's a big challenge, and a lot of people just give up. I remember putting a video out and getting 200 views or getting 300 views, and that was it. I know channels that have been around a while and they put out a video and they're lucky to get 100 views. There's no rhyme or reason to it at all. I guess if YouTube doesn't like you for some reason, you're never going to make it. And for years, I thought I was shadow banned. Then all of a sudden, one of my videos took off, and well, here I am. Now, still not huge or nothing, but can I add a few more cool hats for your viewers? I got several more hats like that black one I always wear, but that's my favorite one. But it is too hot in the summer. The problem is I order them. I'm going to have to order them directly from Tilly, because if I get them on Amazon, they just shove them in a bag. And when they get here, they're all bent out of shape. And it takes forever to get one of them shaped just the way you like it. Now, I don't know if I can order. I imagine I could order. That's the name of that hat, is a Tilly. That's the same hat Sean James wears on, the hell's his channel name? See, they don't share his channel anymore either. You guys seen his, you know what I'm talking about. What's Sean James's channel? I know he spends his summers or his winters in Arizona now. I think he's going to probably end up, I don't know if he's going to end up moving here or not, but 267 people. I'm trying to keep up with chat, but man, whenever I go back and watch the replay, I read all the chats. I'm like, man, I wish I would have answered their question, but you can't get them all. That's why I wear my glasses tonight, because I can see it. When I wear my contacts, I can't see the chat. And then I got to put my reading glasses on. See, y'all love these. And then I don't like that either. Ordered a Tilly yesterday. Yeah, they're nice hats. What I do when I get them, wet them down, take them in the shower, wet them down with hot water, and then just let them, shape it up real good, and then just let them drip dry. And usually they hold their shape, and you can do that at any time. They're completely waterproof, but if you just wet them down real good, you can shape them better. And I used to wear cowboy hats all the time, and these are a lot better. They're a lot more comfortable. they're not as stiff. And if you bump your head into something, it moves with you, and then it bounces back into shape. And they're waterproof. What you like to take out on Route 66? I grew up on Route 66 in Oklahoma. And it was pretty cool. I mean, you had the old style hotels, the motels, the motor courts. There was a ton of them when I was a kid. Now they're all gone. I haven't been there in 8 years or so, so I don't know, but you had the old neon signs, the old motor courts. I mean, Route 66 was cool. I remember as a kid traveling that. And when the things were open. Am I live? Somebody said I was live. I guess I am. That's something I want to do is do the Route 66 drive. And, you know, when all my fur monsters are gone, where's Lily's gone? When they're all gone, I'm probably going to do that, and I'll probably film it. Stop everywhere. Don't know if I'll hit California, though. California is a beautiful state. It's one of the most beautiful states we have. And I've been all over it. I just stay out of the cities. I don't want no part of the cities, but they have some of the most beautiful mountains and forests you're going to see anywhere. And I just hope they get a grip on that state, and, you know, because it doesn't have to be like that. But it is. That's all I got to say about that. Well, we got Chicago in the house. Sedona. I don't think I've ever been to Sedona. I mean, I've been through all them places. I just never stopped. I've been through there either going to California or going to Denver or going to Arizona or Utah. I lived in Utah. That's another beautiful state. But you got to like hot weather to live in Vegas or Utah. And I don't think anybody really likes it. But 110 there compared to 100 here, I'll take the 110 there any day, because this humidity here will roast you. It is miserable. And that desert dry heat, you know, I've seen it 115 in Vegas when I lived there. It's hot. It's miserable. You don't want to go for a walk. If you do, you better take a gallon of water with you. But it's a different heat. And if you go up north, like Minnesota, that's really humid up there. And if you're around the Great Lakes area, all those places are humid. And when it gets to be 80, 85 there, it feels miserable. They stopped paying TikTok. That's not going to go over big. I haven't heard about that. I don't know if that'll ever happen on YouTube, because people do not like these AI videos. They want a real person, and you stop paying YouTubers, they're going to quit doing it. I mean, people don't do this for their health. Some people do it for the fun of it, but most of us, we do it for money, and you know, it is fun. But if they weren't paying me, I wouldn't do it. I mean, I wouldn't do it like I do. I might do something once a month. I have never figured out TikTok. I've got on there. I figured when I started my YouTube that I'd do all of them. And so I signed up for TikTok. I don't know what the name was or any of that, but I don't know how to do it. I imagine if I took the time, but that's a young person's platform. I guess older people watch it, but I don't know if I'd do any good on TikTok, whatever it is. And I did the Instagram and Facebook. Facebook is awful. Maybe if I get 500,000 subscribers, I'll start putting them on Facebook, because they pay too. But every time, and I tried that for a while, and I never got nowhere. They just make it so difficult. I think I made 4 cents. Same with Rumble. I made 20 cents on Rumble. I still got a Rumble. I don't even know if they're still uploading my videos. I had it on auto upload where they would upload whatever I put on YouTube, but I haven't checked it in probably a year. Let's see. Let me scroll up, see if I missed anything. 6 years left to retire. Place is overpopulated. It's going to be overpopulated everywhere in 100 years. What I like about YouTube is, you can go, I go in there in the evenings, I flip it on my TV, and it's kind of easy to figure out. I don't like the way they suggest things now. It feels like you're limited. And I'm not going to sit there and put in a search on my TV. I'll do that on the computer. I'm not going to sit there on a remote control and type letters in searching for things. So I end up watching whatever they suggest a lot of times. Sometimes you'll scroll through it and you don't find anything. And then you go down to hit the refresh and it does nothing. I don't know why they even have it on there. It doesn't do anything. Yeah. And Facebook's the only reason I'm still on that is because a lot of the people I went to school with and whatever family I have left is on there. Other than that, it's nothing but advertisement. That's all that's on there. It's worthless. When it first came out, it was pretty cool because there wasn't any of that. And you could, I remember when it first came out, me and my brothers and my dad got on, but we didn't know that other people was on there, that you could have other people. But it was just us, 4 of us, and we were all sitting there talking amongst ourselves. And I think at some point somebody else chimed in, and we're like, "Who the hell's that?" We didn't know it was, that's when social media was new. We didn't know it was anybody could, if you friended them. I don't remember if I friended somebody or my brother, but all of a sudden there's someone else on my page commenting on what I was talking about with my family. And then I figured out what it was about, and it was good for a while. But like everything that happens on the internet, it gets ruined, and it's usually by greed, advertising. I don't. Speaking of which, I don't think I've checked the box to keep the advertising off of this live stream. Has there been commercials? I hope not. Did they have electricity when you went to school, Mike? Nope. No, and I walked 14 miles in my sock feet, and they had holes in it in the snow, uphill. And then on the weekends, I got a nickel, went to the movie, and still had enough left over to get a steak dinner. That's how old I am. Well, there's Bill in Alaska. Hey, man, I liked your last video. Riding that snowmobile. I'd buy that cabin. Man, $100,000. Man. You give it to me for 20, maybe I'll think about it. It's expensive up there. I understand. But that ain't the life. I'm not the off-grid type. I got to have my, I could do it. I got to have my electricity. I'm not, maybe if I was 30 years old, I'd be up for that. And I used to dream about doing that, but not at my age. I want my comforts. Why can't I make comments on my Facebook? I don't know. I don't have anything turned off. Are you talking about my Ouachita living page or my personal page? Because I don't ever check that Ouachita Mountain living page, because every time I do, they put up some screen and it takes me 15 minutes to figure out what's going on. Did I have help putting up the cedar paneling and cow head at the top of the loft? No, I did that all myself. You're talking on the wall or the ceiling that I just did? I haven't had it. The only help I've ever had in this cabin at all was the first 2 months when I bought it. My brother was here. He had a mobile home, a motor home. He pulled it in the back where the old scrap metal pile was, and I had mine in the yard, and he was here for about 2 months. And he helped me wire a little bit of electric and get the well going. Other than that, I've done everything by myself. And I went a while without electric. I had 2 lines running into the house that each had a box on the end of it with 4 outlets. And I had extension cords going everywhere for probably 5, 6 years. And then I just sat down and I said, I'm going to learn how to do electrical. And I watched a lot of videos and I learned how to do it. Now I can wire anything up, anything residential, that is. But yeah, for years, I had to go rent scaffolding to do that ceiling up there. I wish I would have done that a long time ago. It wasn't that expensive. I think I paid $140 for a week. I didn't have a lot of money for most of the time I've been here, but I think I could have swung that at some point. Just never did. But it is so nice to have that fan up there. That makes one hell of a difference. And it's nice to look up there. I was taking a nap today in that recliner. I looked up. Man, that certainly looks much better now. And that it's done up there. All I got to do is put a little trim on the other side of the wall where I put that little knee wall, and we're done. And some baseboards, and it's done. So I'm going to probably go in the next week or two and buy a couple of chairs. I'm not going to put a lot of furniture up there. Just like I said, maybe a place to record a few videos, because it's pretty cool where that fan is. If I put a couple of chairs up in there, you kind of see that fan in the background going. I like the way that looked. I've made a few videos up there already. Man of many talents. Well, I don't know about that. I'm a master of none. But I had some construction experience. I did printing, but before that, I did cultured marble, which is making sinks, showers. It's a poured marble. You guys, it was popular in the 70s and 80s. You guys have all seen it. You can still buy cultured marble vanities in sink tops in Lowe's or Home Depot. But that's what I did. And we'd go to new construction and install showers and sinks. And then I did, when I was young, like 16, I worked for a commercial painter. So I've been in and out of construction for a lot of years. And you got to work around other subcontractors. You pick those things up, how they do it. And I would sit there a lot of times and watch them work and try to learn something. But you got to constantly, there's a lot of people waste their life they don't want to learn anything. And then if you ever have an opportunity like I've had, then you don't have any skills to do anything. But even if you don't have any skills, you can still learn them. YouTube is an awesome tool for that. Is this the Trump train? Well, this isn't a political video, if that's what you mean. It ain't the Biden boat, I'll tell you that. Do I hunt mushrooms out there? Last time I went mushroom hunting, I took a shotgun. And I seen them. And I took aim. And I got them. But man, you ever try to pick that buckshot out of all of them little bitty pieces of mushroom? No, I haven't been. That's something I'm not good at, is looking at plants and saying, okay, that's edible. That's not. My luck, I'd probably eat a mushroom that was poisonous and it'd kill me. I would have to take somebody that was very experienced at it, that I could trust, to teach me. Even then, I don't know that I would trust myself picking out a mushroom. Now, I know what the morels look like, but isn't there some that look close to them? I mean, they grow in my yard all the time. And I try to keep them out of the dog's yard. I don't think they bother them. But I did lose a dog in 2017 when those things were growing, and I didn't figure they'd ever fool with them, and I don't know for sure that she did, but she was a healthy 6-year-old beagle, and I just went out one morning and she was gone. I had seen her at midnight running around with Lily, and that morning she was gone. It just laid in the middle of the yard and died. And I took her to the vet. I took her body to the vet, and they said her stomach had turned. So whether she ate a mushroom or not, I don't know. But ever since then, I make sure there's nowhere the dogs can get them. But I don't think they, it's like the fire ant piles. They know what they are. They stay away from them. But I don't know. Bill's got Mario mushrooms. I ain't never heard of them dudes. I would imagine you got a very short growing season up there in Alaska. That would be hard to have a garden. I would think I'd have to have a greenhouse, some kind of underground thing going on. I built Goss mailroom products. Yeah, that's mostly all the most of the presses I worked on were Goss's, communities, metros, headliners, but also worked on Harris presses and Man Roland, German presses. Oh yeah, I've heard of Goss. That's how I got into the newspaper trade. They were putting in a press, Goss community in Ohio, in Chardon, Ohio, and they needed a pressman for when it was, but they hired me while the install was going on, and I got to work with a web press service and learn how to put in rollers and how the presses from the ground up. That helped me later on. So and then I became friends with the guy that owned the web press service. You probably heard of him, Len Brown and Sons. And I've known him 40 years. And if I ever needed a job, I'd call him up because he traveled the country putting in presses. I said, hey, man, do you know where there's anybody needing a pressman? And he'd know because he was there putting in the presses or he was just there. So when you got connections like that, back then in the printing trade, you get a job whenever you wanted. Not now. Wouldn't want to get in it now. Oh, left the old McDonald's. I'm surprised the ants ate your McDonald's. You ever pick up a French fry that you might have dropped in your car from McDonald's? A year later, it's still good. Doesn't look any different. They don't rot. Something about that would scare me about food. So speaking of, I guess I'll talk a little bit about Carnivore. I don't know if anybody here is interested in it, but I did go today to the doctor at the VA. He went over all the blood work. What they do is you go in a few days before and then you meet with the doctor annually. And he didn't really get on me about the cholesterol. I think they're kind of lightening up to Carnivore now. The nurse was very interested in it. And I gave her my channel name, probably stupid, but she's interested in that for her husband. I don't think the medical community is so against it anymore. I mean, how could you be? You see people if you see a guy like me that came in there 3 years ago, 320 pounds, and then you see me today walk in there, at my weight now with all these good positive blood lab tests, how can you be against that? When the only bad thing I had was my cholesterol, and who's to say that's bad? This is a guide that they put together for us. It doesn't mean it's correct. People ate that food for many, many years before all these tests came about. And a lot of those people that ate that kind of food, like my grandparents, lived into their 90s, but they weren't eating the fast foods. They weren't eating the soft drinks. I didn't grow up drinking soft drinks all the time. We weren't allowed to have it. It's on every table now. They drink it all day. Eating habits have changed drastically. That's why everybody's overweight now. I haven't been eating a lot of steak. Let's make some ribeye. I did eat a ribeye yesterday with, man, I don't know what it is. I get and I need to buy a cow from a rancher. I'm going to get that soon. But in the meantime, I've been buying the little 1 pound blocks of meat at Aldi. And I get 2 hamburger patties out of that. And then I fry those up. I can never get tired of hamburger. I did make a tri-tip in the crock pot, not the way to cook it. I did make a corned beef and a roast beef. I have a hard time eating that with these new dentures. It's too stringy. It's hard to chew. When you chew it, it just balls up. So I ended up throwing most of those meats away. Yeah, I could have sat there and ground it up real good, but for some reason, that's a hard meat to eat. But I can chew a steak. I can chew burger, just about anything. But today, I just got done, man, I was rushing too. I just got done grilling out chicken. I haven't ate chicken in 6 months. I'm not a big fan of chicken. And I just got chicken legs and I put them in a big bowl and I put in some garlic, pepper, and salt. I put in a little cumin and a little bit of that Hughes barbecue sauce, just a little bit of olive oil, and I mixed it all up and I put it on the grill. It was good. That pellet grill really does. And I hated cooking chicken out on the grill before because it'd about burn up and it wasn't done in the middle. But this pellet grill seems to really get it done good. And it didn't take that long. But, I figured I'll try chicken. I think eventually you start liking some of the meats you never liked before because you want a bigger variety. Which there are plenty of varieties of meats, pork, beef, fish. I'm not a big seafood eater. And also tonight with my dinner, I took an avocado and I mixed in a can of tuna fish because I'm not a big seafood eater, but I'll eat tuna fish. I'll eat shrimp. I just took the tuna and mixed it in with the avocado, and it's good. And he did tell me I need to make sure I eat my omega-3s. And so I got to get better about that. I burned myself out right off the bat with carnivore eating salmon. I like salmon, but I just burnt myself out. And any kind of fish I eat, I got to bury it in tartar sauce. But I can eat shrimp. I make my own sugar-free cocktail sauce. But it's best to put it in a tray and put it in the grill. Everybody's doing good. Patricia Rayfield. And she's living in the year 2092. We have a time traveler, ladies and gentlemen. I hope the world's a better place in your year. See how far I reach. I reach into the future. Country ham. I do eat ham. I mostly buy ham to put in my when I do eat breakfast, and I don't eat it every day. Pretty much all I do now is I get either some ground beef or some ground pork, and then I'll add a little ham to it, cubed up ham. And then I'll just crack about 6 eggs on top and stir it all up and melt a little bit of cheese on top. And that gives me enough for 2 days, 2 meals. And man, you got to add some cumin. I just started using that spice. That gives you that Mexican taste. Cumin, smoked paprika. I put spice in my stuff. I've never stopped using spices. I just switch salts. I use Redmond's Ancient Sea Salt. But I would tell people going carnivore, man, don't listen. If you want spices, use spices. How much is that really going to change anything? It just doesn't. It hasn't for me. You've seen how much weight I've lost, and I've always ate spices, and I've never quit eating cheese. You got to watch which cheeses you eat. From Guatemala and listen to my stories every day. Well, I'm glad you're listening. Yes, cumin is good for you. You got to don't buy the cheesy brand from Walmart. Same with any spice. I couldn't even find smoked paprika. Man, that's night and day from regular paprika. But it has that real smoky flavor. And I'll put jalapenos in my omelet. It's really just an egg scramble. I haven't had a fried egg in a long time. It's, to me, it just tastes good with the meat in it and everything. And I get 2 meals out of it. So I go through about a dozen eggs. I probably eat breakfast 4 times a week. So I usually have a couple dozen eggs on hand all the time. That's probably where a lot of my cholesterol is coming from. But man, an egg is like one of the world's most perfect foods. Just think of what a chicken provides us. You can eat the chicken. If you don't eat the chicken, it'll give you eggs. You can eat eggs every day. They give you fertilizer for your garden. If you do a garden, they give you so many, and they're very easy to raise. Throw them a little feed, make sure they got water. They do their own thing. So chickens are very good for you. And I do get ground turkey. The dogs get that all the time. Today they had raw liver, cooked. They won't eat it raw. I don't know why. Maybe if I raised them as puppies, from puppies eating raw liver, they would. If you can get your dog or cat to eat raw liver of any kind, chicken or any kind of liver, that's the best thing they can eat. But they like it. I slightly cook it. It's still bloody. They like it. They all had liver today. I actually kind of like it myself. I haven't sat down and made a plate of liver yet, but when I cut theirs up, I take a taste of it. I could handle it. I think I could handle it now. I hated it as a kid. Same thing with Brussels sprouts. I hated those as a kid. Man, I love them now. And I have ate Brussels sprouts a few times while I've been doing carnivore. There's nothing wrong with that once in a while. The main reason for not eating vegetables is a lot of vegetables will cause inflammation. And so you want to get rid of all that stuff and meat is known not to cause inflammation. So the main reason for not eating vegetables is so you can determine, one of the reasons, so you can determine which vegetables are giving you inflammation. And so far I've added back green beans. I've added back Brussels sprouts. I don't know if avocado is a vegetable or a fruit, but I eat that. And none of those have had any change in how I feel. And occasionally I will put an onion in something, but onions will create a little sugar. Just depends how you cook those two. I will definitely put an onion in the crock pot when I'm cooking something. But anyway, I thought there was a mixture of some carnivore. 322 people. We'll go another 10 minutes here, make it an even hour. It's probably it's not dark out. It's still light. Curious to see how all 80 of my solar lights look tonight. It is pretty cool. Yeah, organ meat is good for you. Just too bad it tastes like crap. Chicken livers? No, I don't think I will ever like chicken livers. The only ones I've ate that I could almost choke down were fried chicken livers, and there's no point in doing that. But on carnivore, you can make a coating. Okay, you can fry foods. I make a coating out of egg, and I take pork rinds and I crush them up into a powder. And I just put the meat dip it in the egg, and then dip it in that, and then you can dip it back in the egg, and you could fry it in beef tallow. And I have done that. And I need to do that again. What was that? Oh, that's Lily sneezing. I need to do that again because it's really good, and you can fry anything in beef tallow. It's not bad for you. And beef tallow is a little olive oil I'll use. I put olive oil, just a hair of a thin little line of olive oil about 2 or 3 times a week in my dog's food. Olive oil for a dog is like ibuprofen. So like Lily and Rooster, they're getting older. So I just put a little bit. I don't do it every day. But every day they get CDB oil. I put that in their food. You can order that on Amazon. It's pet grade. And I have proven that that stuff does well. That stuff's a miracle. Tomatoes. I have made some chili that I put tomato sauce in. And I was a big tomato eater. It never did anything as far as inflammation for me. And I used to eat it a lot. Yeah, Brussels sprouts. I would say I've only had them 3 times in 2 years. Something like that. Yeah, broccoli. I think I could probably eat broccoli or cauliflower. I'm just not trying to say, okay, I'm gonna eat this now, and then now I'm gonna eat this, and now I'm gonna eat this, because this has worked for me, and I'm used to it. I don't feel the need to add more foods, but there are foods that have other vitamins and things that I could probably use that I like, that I could add back. And keto, there's nothing wrong with being keto. Now, breads and sweets and a lot of the things like that, I'm not adding back. Yeah, I could go for a big old fat Whataburger right now, but you have to have some willpower. You got to have some discipline. And I guess if I wanted to go get a Whataburger and get one, it isn't going to kill me, because I know I have the discipline to not do that every week. But I haven't done that yet. Now, I do go to Chinese buffet. There's one I go to. Usually if I'll go to Fort Smith, not all the time, but I can pick out the meats and not eat all the others. I don't eat the lo mein. I can pick out the shrimp. I did ask the guy what he fries it in, and he told me. So he's not using seed oils for that. I know, I'm not eating the egg rolls, and I'm not eating the noodles or fried things. But and some of the sauces are sweet. You know what? Yeah, a little bit. And just because you're carnivore doesn't mean you cannot partake in something once in a while. You have to treat yourself once in a while. And so that's, the way I look at it. I don't think anybody can argue that I've done good enough on it. And if I want to eat something different once in a while, so what? Because I know I'm not going to change the way I eat. My freezer is full of nothing but meat. And that's how I'm going to continue to eat, probably the rest of my life. And I do have emergency food that is not carnivore. There's nothing wrong with having 50 pounds of beans put away. I have MREs, military MREs put away. If I cannot get to the store, if I cannot get meat, and I'm in an emergency situation, I have food. You have to be smart. Not everything that stores well is meat, unless you can it, there's no way to store it without refrigeration. So you have to have these dehydrated meals. Our whole power grid gets knocked out. Who knows? All your stores will be gone. They're closed. Who knows how long it'll be? So it doesn't hurt to be prepared. And the chat just quit moving. I don't know. I probably missed half you guys's. You guys's. Is you guys's a word? Well, we got 6 minutes. When I first started Carnivore, I was like 2 months in, and I said, you know what? Once a month, I'm going to get me a thing of ice cream. And I went out and I got ice cream. And I paid for that because I was in the bathroom every 15 minutes. And I haven't done it since. Yeah, I used to like ice cream. Trust me. Yeah. Another commercial. Well, thanks for letting me know, Bill. I don't even know how that works on a live stream. What do they do? Just cut me off mid-sentence and go to a commercial and then pick up where I left, or are they skipping out the part that happened while you were watching the commercial? I hope they're not long. I'll remember next time to check that box where you're not going to see it. Puroki, what's up, girl? Good to see you. Hey, I wore your hat yesterday, and I think I wore it in the video on the other channel. Still got it. That's my work hat because it's all dirty and sweaty now. Then I got going to town hats. Does a side-by-side and you can skip in 5 seconds. Okay. I think I still get paid for them. I didn't even know I had that. I didn't have that checked. I don't like commercials on my live stream. First podcast? Not hardly. I've had a channel since 2011. Might seem like it. No, he's probably referring to the commercials. I don't do them that often. And it's, putting commercials in the live streams are fairly new. So when I was setting it up, I didn't bother to check the box to not put them in. But anyway, figured I'd get in a live stream before the end of the month. Tomorrow's April Fool's. I don't think I could fool you guys again. Many years I have made videos that were April Fool's jokes, and some people didn't they didn't wait to the end where I'd say April Fools, and I've done some pretty good ones. So I don't think I'll be doing that anymore. Not unless and if I did, it wouldn't be on April Fool's Day. I might do it a week before. Then it wouldn't be the same, would it? Yeah, Rooster's still outside, and it is getting dark now. So I like this time change, though. But anyway, and if you haven't seen the solar lights, I did put up a 3-minute short on Dogman, on my Dogman channel. And if you ain't subscribed over there, go check it out and subscribe. And that channel needs help. Okay, that poor guy. Something happened. I don't know. Ain't nobody watching his videos over there. That's my twin brother, man. My twin brother. Go on over there, watch his videos, and subscribe. And there is a 3-minute short where I show you what the solar lights look like. I was up on the loft for 30 seconds, and then I came and I even walked the trails and show you what they look like. But I only had 40. Now I got 80. So we might do that again. Anyway, I guess we'll wrap this thing up, and I appreciate all of you. Wow, over 300 people was here. So we'll try to do this at least once a month, and all 3 of my channels, this is simulcast. So this live is available on any channel you're subscribed to. You might be on my Dogman, whatever the hell that channel name is. I can't never remember. Mountain Workshop. You might be watching it from that channel, but it's the same on all 3 of them. StreamYard has that capability where you can do that. And they pay me on all 3 channels. I wondered that last time. They're only going to pay me on one channel, I thought. Then I looked, but then the other channels don't do as well as this one. So I don't even know which one I'm on. I'm not on one. I'm on all 3. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys, and appreciate you being here. Happy trails.